In this video, I'm going to be a bit of a problematic reviewer because I'm going to be recommending you 15 fragrances that I think are must-owns for every collector. If you're going to get into the hobby of fragrance collecting, we all know, guys, if you've been there, that eventually you see a lot of the same fragrances pop up in the community that end up getting so much hype that you eventually will have to check them out or acquire them. I just think there are so many staples in the community that just are an inevitable part of someone's collection. They are worth owning. They're kind of culturally relevant. If you want to be part of this kind of culture, this clique, they're worth knowing about. For example, for me, Prada L'Homme is not a fragrance I enjoy, but I keep it in my collection because it's so such a reference point in the community, and it's a good fragrance in its own right, and it's just such a relevant scent in the modern industry. People know about it, people hype it up, and as a reviewer, I'm just going to talk about it inevitably, so it's kind of just good to have it there as a reference point. Prada L'Homme is not going to be featuring in today's video. Okay, I'm a bit of a hypocrite, but I'm actually going to feature 15 other fragrances that I think are just great reference points, great pieces of art, and great beginner fragrances that kind of get you into different styles. They teach you a lot about the community, about the industry, and they're just great fragrances in their own right. So hopefully you agree with me. Hopefully overall these 15 fragrances give you a well-rounded collection as well. Let's begin. By the time you are watching this video, you're going to have very limited days to pre-order our limited edition release, which is Atrium's Mr. Espresso, which is a community created fragrance, which is an idea that you guys wanted to see happen. This is a spicy coffee, chocolate, woody, amber fragrance, ideal for the evenings in the spring, in the autumn and winter time. This is an intense, masculine, unique coffee fragrance that you can pre-order until the 31st of May. You can reserve your bottle today for only $1. We'll leave a link in the description down below. Let's start off with a relatively affordable Dolce&Gabbana's The One Eau de Parfum. You're gonna see this keep being talked about forever and ever. Eventually you're gonna smell it, you're gonna love it. It's a very beautiful, smooth tobacco, ginger, honey fragrance, beautiful amber cardamom here. This is one of the best daytime fragrances to ever be made. And actually, I don't think the longevity is that bad. You'll see a lot of people complain about the performance. I get maybe around 6 hours. It's not that bad in my opinion, especially for like a date night fragrance. This is a very romantic scent. When you smell it, you just think this is romantic, smooth, seductive, evening stuff right here. But a lot of people don't like the performance. Okay, but it's still a great scent to have in anyone's collection. It's super safe. Let's say you want to be very safe on a first date, or you just want a very safe, reserved, intimate environment for the evening in general. You don't want to offend anyone. This is the fragrance to do it. Rasasi Hawas. The bubblegum DNA in perfumery is very popular. Ever since this fragrance came out, it's just been relentlessly mentioned. I've definitely contributed to that. This is a beastly Middle Eastern take on an aquatic bubblegum. It's a freshie that just performs, which is very rare in the community, and that's what kind of got it so hyped initially. It's mass appealing. It'll get you compliments. You can wear this for several seasons because of how strong it is, even though it smells summery. Because of that strength, you can wear it in colder weather as well if you really want to. This is youthful, fun, casual, just a great scent in general. It's synthetic. It's not like a completely natural fragrance, but I still really like it. I still give it a 9 out of 10. It still stands the test of time, surprisingly, in my opinion, even though it came out in 2015, 10 years ago, which is crazy. This is still a classic. I think everyone should have this in their collection. You're probably gonna have it at some point. A YSL fragrance of some kind. Blue fragrances are very popular, fresh out of the shower, versatile, easy to wear, compliment getting. YSL, the EDP, Le Parfum, or this is the EDP Intense, which is what I recommend, are gonna be the usual 3 you see around in the community. This introduces you to that modern, fresh, sporty blue style that a lot of people love. You're gonna see this fragrance mentioned a lot, and it's not bad to have in your collection. Even though I don't really reach for this, I still appreciate having it. 37.9% of people who watch School of Scent are subscribed to us. If you guys really want to see our channel grow, go ahead and click subscribe. Let's get that number to 40%. Thank you. The Acqua di Gio DNA by Giorgio Armani. Just get the original or one of the flankers that is reminiscent of the original. Don't get one of the weird flankers like, I don't know, Absolute Instinct or something like that. Get something that is reminiscent of the original, which is an iconic, one of the best-selling fresh fragrances of all time for men. It came out in the 90s, made by master perfumer Alberto Morillas. Aquatic, citrusy. It's very fresh, handsome, musky, a little bit of patchouli in there, a little bit herbaceous, very clean, fresh out of the shower as well. I think the Parfum is my favorite concentration still to this day. But the idea in general, the DNA, is pretty much the quintessential aquatic fragrance. You need to know this fragrance. This is going to be referenced so many times. Kind of the entire aquatic industry kind of revolves around this because people will compare aquatics to this, if that makes sense, because this is like the baseline for a lot of aquatic scents. Bleu de Chanel. I mentioned the blue category with YSL's Y already, but this actually created the category. This came out in 2010, and then other brands kind of took a similar idea and ran with it with their own take, of course. But Bleu de Chanel is iconic. Dark, fresh, handsome, This smells timeless, natural smelling, but at the same time just complex as well. It's mass appealing, and you'll smell it a lot when you walk around. You probably smell it as well. This is one of the most mainstream fragrances out there by one of the most mainstream brands, but this is just timeless. This is a masterclass actually in perfumery as well. I think the Eau de Parfum is still the best out of all of them. This is the concentration I recommend, and it's a great reference point as well. YSL's La Nuit de l'Homme. Again, another iconic date night fragrance that doesn't perform very well. It lasts around 4 hours, but it's the original La Nuit flanker that focuses on the note of cardamom. If you want to focus on that note in all its glory, this is a fragrance to do it. Cardamom that's warm, romantic, balanced out with woody ambers and the lavender in there. It's a very balanced, airy, sexy, seductive date night DNA in general. It smells masculine, handsome, and kind of like an effortless DNA. It just feels like a guy is not trying too hard with this. He smells handsome, he's romantic, he's well dressed, well put together. This is the fragrance to give off that vibe. Armaf's Club de Nuit Intense Man. This is the clone fragrance that kind of basically started off that entire industry of taking expensive niche fragrances like Creative Ventus in this case and making them much more affordable at a fraction of the price while smelling as similar as possible. And in the air, people usually think you're wearing the original fragrance. This really took off by storm in around 2015. This is the limited edition Parfum, so this is many flankers later down the road. I think this is the best flanker right now of the original Aventus DNA in this line of Club de Nuit Intense Man. It lasts a really long time. It's going to get you a lot of compliments, and the Aventus DNA itself is iconic. I could have actually included it in this list. It's not actually in this list, but this DNA in general, you kind of have to have it in your collection because Aventus is going to be referenced a billion times in itself as the fragrance, as the original, but also it has so many clones that are just copying Aventus and so many almost like new categories created by Aventus, sort of like the Cedra Boisé category or the Tigar category, which I think kind of took some inspiration from Aventus. So it's such a big game changer, the Aventus DNA in the industry, that you have to have a fragrance that is reminiscent of it, in my opinion. Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male Elixir. You could opt for a higher volume size than what I have here, but you see Jean-Paul Gaultier fragrances going crazy on social media. If you spend 5 minutes online, I know like the algorithm will get you, because if you are just starting your collection journey, you've searched fragrances already on your browser, it's over for you. Jean-Paul Gaultier will show up. It's a general fun, loud, sweet brand. And I think, you know, back in the day, I may have recommended Versace Eros. That's kind of also a must-own, let's say. A lot of people reference it, but you know, only get Versace Eros Parfum. But generally for clubbing fragrances nowadays, I think Le Male Elixir is more relevant. It's almost like a syrupy, smooth vanilla, a little bit honeyed, but really I don't think the note breakdown is that complex. Actually, I think the fragrance, when you smell it, it just smells like a nice smooth vanilla that smells modern, it's long lasting, it's loud. Versace Eros I could recommend in this video also, but I feel like, for me anyways, in my experience, I really just did not like the fragrance. I had it twice now. I just feel like I had to give it away because I got so bored from it so quickly. But as a beginner, if you're a teenager, let's say, maybe actually yes, it's still relevant for you, but I think, you know, at least go for the Parfum. I feel like the DNA in general just gets too boring too quickly, hence why I don't think you must have it, but at least you must try that fragrance. YSL's L'Homme. It's just about made today's list. I think it is still iconic enough to be featured. This is a more fresh take on the La Nuit DNA. Well, La Nuit is the darker take on this because this is the original that started the entire L'Homme line, all the flankers. This has its own like 10 bazillion flankers itself. This is warm, gingery, ambery. It's very romantic and handsome in that way, but it's then freshened up with a lot of citruses. It's just a very bright scent. This is the bright daytime version of La Nuit de l'Homme. Also disappointing in that performance, and you need to really reapply this, but in the office you'll smell like the most handsome man in the office. This is still iconic, one of the best ginger fragrances out there. So you go for La Nuit for the cardamom, you go to L'Homme for the ginger. Chanel's Allure Homme Sport Eau Extrême. I think you need to get an Allure fragrance from the Allure Homme line in general. It's again one of the most iconic lines in the designer game. You'll see a lot of people talking about Eau Extrême. You know, thanks to Jeremy, he kept hyping that fragrance up, saying it got him a lot of compliments. Maybe it works on his skin. I've never received a single compliment myself personally with this, but I do with Allure Homme Sport, the original sport flanker. This is still very good stuff though. This is very artistic, creamy, minty mandarin with this nice smooth tonka bean base. I think this is still an artistic, sexy fragrance that's very versatile and has decent performance as well. I think it's worth having, even though it's not my favorite in the collection. I still just think this is a great reference point. A lot of people in the community are going to know about this. They're going to keep telling you about this, and it's just a fragrance that's worth checking out. Dior Homme Intense. The note of iris is a very important note as well. It's a bit of a polarizing note. It's powdery, intense, almost makeup-like, and you have to either like it or hate it, I think. It's an acquired taste that can be applied in clean fragrances like Prada L'Homme, or it can be applied in darker, sweet scents like Dior Homme Intense. It's important to note the note of iris, and this is a masterpiece in itself. It's a 10 out of 10 in my opinion, even though, again, I don't really like it myself subjectively, but it is still a masterpiece. That's dark, a little bit powdery, chocolatey. Iris is the main star of the show here, and you're going to see a lot of other dark iris fragrances like Gentleman Reserve Privé or Valentino Woman Intense, Prada L'Homme Intense, and also the clean iris scents as I was describing before. So iris is an important note. This is a very important line in general. Dior Homme Intense is iconic. You should check it out. You should probably own it as well. Tom Ford's Ombré Leather. A great scent from a great brand. Tom Ford as a brand in general is very cool, even though I do think their more recent stuff is not very interesting. They still have a lot of iconic hits that a lot of people like to talk about. Ombré Leather gets you into leather perfumery really well. It's simple, smooth, high quality leather. It makes it smell a bit like a stud in my opinion, a bit of like a badass masculine bad boy in my opinion. Long lasting as well, pretty versatile, and it's just a cool idea. You kind of get this a little bit later on in your collection, not at the very beginning, but you want to get into leather, you want to spend a little bit more money, this is a great scent to do it. Terre de Hermès. Although recently this is not as long lasting as it used to be, I think it has been reformulated, it still smells incredible. This is what you go for because, well, first of all people reference it. It's more mature masculine perfumery, like signature material. This is also just a masterclass in perfumery, made by one of the best perfumers on the planet, Jean-Claude Ellena. This fragrance will start teaching you to appreciate not the brands necessarily, but the perfumers, because they're the ones who actually make these creations, and they work across several different brands all over times. But I think Hermès had Jean-Claude Ellena exclusively. He made a lot of fragrances for them, but Terre de Hermès is just a masterclass in masculine perfumery. It's got the citruses, the orange in here. It's dirty, earthy, at the same time clean. It's professional, it's peppery. It's a fragrance that actually kind of pushes your boundaries as well. It's a little bit challenging, which is pretty cool, and I think as you get more mature and developed in your fragrance taste, this is a fragrance that can really help open your horizons and to expand your palette when it comes to perfumery in general, and to help you appreciate counterintuitive, interesting ideas. Another Tom Ford scent is Oud Wood, but now this is from the Private Blend line. The Private Blend line is also legendary, iconic, even though, again, you know, their recent stuff is a bit lackluster. You still need to know about this line. Private Blend is just beautiful. Although their stuff is just really creative for its time. Oud Wood is one of those cases. It's a synthetic oud, I would say, but it's just very sexy, spicy, green, woody, a little bit ambery, a little bit vanillic. It's a beautiful balance. It's a dark, intense oud that still smells fresh and green, in my opinion. It's a very hard scent to describe, but I will just say it smells incredibly sexy, and it's iconic in the industry, and everyone's going to recommend it and talk about it. So you have to know this scent. Some people say it's reformulated, not as long lasting as it used to be. I think it's mainly the projection that's been toned down in reformulations, in my opinion. I still think it's worth checking out at the very least, and you can decide if you want to buy it. Otherwise, you can get something like Carved Oud by Thameen, which is a cologne that is long lasting. And lastly, in the world of niche, is Parfum de Marly's Layton. Although this fragrance now has many clones, this has still stood the test of time, surprisingly. I feel like this is still a great scent. Even though it's so hyped, it meets that expectation, in my opinion. It really deserves the hype, and it still deserves the price tag, in my opinion, as well. It's thick, luxurious, but beautiful and easy to wear. It's like a powdery, fresh, green apple, floral, vanilla fragrance that smells like money, like luxury. I would describe this as like a handsome, floral, vanillic apple pie. It is so creative. It's a superstar in Parfum de Marly. I'm sure this was their bestseller, and for good reason. It lasts a really long time. You can wear this most of the year round. It's great value for money. It's a 10 out of 10 still to this day. I think this is still a must-have, and it's a great way for beginners to get into niche fragrances. Oftentimes, that's the usual move. You start off with Layton or Aventus, one of those two for your niche escapades. And that concludes this video, guys. I know it's a bit of a controversial title saying that fragrances are a must-own. It's a hobby, it's a luxury item, nothing is a must-own, but I think if you're a collector, if you want to be serious about collecting, I think you must own these fragrances, or at the very least, try them out. You can always sample these fragrances, of course, if you want to save money. What are your thoughts today, guys? Do you feel like I've missed out on some must-own fragrances that are just so iconic that every beginner must check them out? They can't be missed. Let me know in the comments down below, guys. And if you guys enjoyed this video and you're looking for your next summer fragrance, make sure you check out our recent perfect 10 out of 10 summer fragrances up here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.